Right now at 5, authorities in southwest Missouri charge a suspect in a fatal hit and run.
And the remnants of Beryl bringing some rain showers for a few of us out there, maybe a couple of additional showers through the day. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the city of Joplin throws a financial lifeline to future homeowners.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday.
There you
Today
go,
is
finally.
Tuesday. Yes, yesterday was not Tuesday.
No, it
Yesterday
wasn't,
was
but you
Monday.
really wanted it to be.
I did for some reason, but now we've made it, so we're good.
How are you feeling?
We're hanging in there.
Okay, good.
One day at a time. And some of us getting some showers. And an interesting thing we'll show it to you here on the cameras is we had just a little shower where it rained on the east side of Joplin, but not in downtown. That's the little mix of showers.
Yes, I witnessed that. It was a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And boy, yesterday though, it really let loose. We had a lot of flash flooding across the area.
Yes.
Still, you want to be careful, watch out for potential high spots of water this morning. Let's start with the Cordell camera, downtown Joplin. It is going to show you that it's dry in downtown. You can see the roads definitely look dry. On the parking lots, a little more difficult to tell for sure that it's dry, but I assure you it is, and the roadways definitely so. And then our camera 7th and Range Line, it's beginning to dry out, but you can see the reflection of some of the wet spots out there on 7th Street. And we go to the MoDOT camera 32nd and Range Line, still a little early, so it's a little hazy looking this morning, but otherwise not bad. So Skywatch Storm Tracker, there it is. Just as a quick note, these things there, those are not happening, but this is the far northern edge of what was Hurricane Beryl. So bringing some moderate rainfall this morning, no thunderstorm activity, but say Bentonville, Pineville, Cassville, Monette, a little lighter showers, Mount Vernon, Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola, and all of this. Now, of course, the activity swirls that direction, but because the center of circulation is lifting off to the north and east, it will gradually be pulled away. But some of those rain bands, those outer bands rather, could trigger some additional isolated pop-up showers and storms, as you can see, mainly along and to the east of the US 69 corridor as we head into the afternoon. All right, temperatures this morning, again, fairly decent start across the area, upper 60s and low 70s out there. And as we head through the day, again, we've got the showers this morning. They'll taper off a bit, then most of us are going to be dry today, as we showed you on Future Track, but a few isolated pop-up showers and storms along and east of 69 as we head into the evening. Our highs today a little cooler as well, going into the low 80s. You got to enjoy the cool weather while it lasts, or at least the cooler weather, because it's really going to start to heat up soon. We'll have details in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. Authorities say a pedestrian who was killed on I-44 yesterday might have been hit by more than one vehicle. The crash occurred around 4 yesterday morning in Ottawa County. Troopers responded to the report of a man lying in the inside lane of the westbound traffic. Investigators say a vehicle that stopped at the scene did not appear to be the first that hit the man, but the first vehicle is unknown. The victim has been identified as 63-year-old Edward Parker of Cuba, Missouri. He died at the scene. Newton County, Missouri authorities charge a man in a fatal hit and run from Friday night. Witnesses say a Dodge Dakota driven by Richard Taylor of Racine, Missouri went off the Douglas Fir Road near Loma Linda, Missouri. It struck the victim, Sheldona Wood of Joplin. A BOLO was issued for the truck after it left the scene. Newton County prosecutors have filed a number of charges against Taylor, including felony DWI, death of another person, and felony leaving the scene of an accident. An appellate court ends the criminal case against the former defense attorney of Northeast Oklahoma prison drug lord. Yesterday, the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals dismissed the state's final appeal in the legal battle with Winston Connor, a prominent criminal defense attorney based out of Jay, Oklahoma. This ruling brings an end to a case that began in November 2018 when Connor was indicted on 10 charges, including racketeering, assault with a dangerous weapon, pandering, witness intimidation, distribution of controlled substances, and illegal communication with an inmate, the notorious Oklahoma drug lord, Slint Tate. Well, in 2018, a federal judge tacked on 20 years to Tate's life sentence for operating a multi-state drug ring from prison, a drug ring that allegedly netted sales of up to $1 million a week. You can read more about both cases on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, some people living in Forsyth, Missouri say sewage is spilling over in their neighborhood. One woman claims the city isn't doing anything about it, but city leaders say they are addressing the problem. Becky Sanders says it all started back in April of 2023. One day while taking a moment to relax on her deck, she says the foul odor of sewage filled the air. As the smell worsened, she called City Hall. Sanders believes the stench is caused by improper maintenance to the lift station located behind her home.
Drains have a horrible smell to them. Sometimes when we turn on our water, you get just a blast of sewage smell. And this has been an ongoing problem. Our lift station that the city has on our property has leaked sewage 6 times now.
We have a constituent issue here that the guys have been working on for some time. They have incrementally tried to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We take constituent requests very seriously, and we're going to respond to them.
Inspectors say crews were out working yesterday to try to find the exact problem and resolve it. The city of Joplin throws a financial lifeline to future homeowners. The Joplin Homebuyers Assistance Program, or JHAP2, offers funds up to $40,000 per household. To qualify for the funds, potential homeowners must purchase a home within the city of Joplin, be a Joplin citizen, and annual income cannot exceed more than $93,000 a year. Yesterday marked the first of 3 grant-funded housing programs launched by the city this year to strengthen neighborhoods and boost investment.
Well, it's always wise to invest in your citizens. They're the ones that we support. They're the ones who elected me to run on the city council and to become the mayor. So we want to turn right around and invest in those citizens and help them achieve the American dream.
The first round of JHAP launched after the 2011 tornado. The program will remain open as funding is available or until the application deadline closes in early 2026. Yesterday was the first day of Pitt State's Summer Robotics Camp. The program will introduce middle school students to robotics and programming basics. The program hopes to spark an early interest in STEM and help kids develop skills they can use in college. At the end of the program, the students will put their skills to the test and compete in a robotics contest.
The kids love it because, of course, it's working with Legos, doing basic robotics to do kind of fun tasks, but we try to help them be able to figure out how these skills will engage beyond the classroom into their lives as they go on.
The camp runs through the end of the week. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A high school football standout commits to play in the SEC. We'll have the details. Plus, a big election day surprise could have major implications for France and the world. And we have another warm and cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Be right back.
Field Kinley High School senior Keaton Jones had offers to play college football essentially anywhere in the country he wanted to. Alabama, USC, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and a lot more. Sunday, Jones made his college decision. He'll be staying somewhat close to home. The 6'4", 315-pound offensive lineman announces on social media that he's committing to Mizzou. Jones is a composite 3-star recruit, according to the recruiting website 247 Sports. He is the 7th best player in the class of 2025 in the entire state of Kansas and the 35th ranked interior offensive lineman in the entire country. Summer collegiate baseball season rolls along in the 4 states. Up in Nevada, the Griffins have only 2 weeks and 13 games remaining in their 2024 campaign. Last night, Nevada at home against St. Joseph, who's in first place in the Mink League. Griffins led for the first few innings, but haven't been able to recover from allowing 4 runs in the 5th. The Griffins fall to the Mustangs with a final score of 8-4. Nevada's back at home for a doubleheader tonight. Switching gears to Major League Baseball, this week is the final stretch before the All-Star break. We're more than halfway through the 162-game regular season. The first half has been up and down for the Cardinals, but right now they're in playoff position. Cardinals on the road in D.C. taking on the Nationals. First inning, C.J. Abrams drives one deep to the gap, but Michael Ciani on his horse makes the catch as he crashes into the wall. Great effort by Ciani to rob Abrams of an extra base hit. Next inning, no score. Brendan Donovan hits a liner to left. This time, Washington makes a great play in the field. James Wood with the diving catch, which keeps it scoreless. Next half inning, Juan Yepez hit a deep fly ball to a very similar spot in right center. Ciani is there again to make the leaping catch as he crashes into the wall. Ciani makes almost identical catches in the first and second innings. Fourth inning, Cardinals up 1-0. Paul Goldschmidt goes deep to left. No diving catch this time. His 12th home run of the year puts St. Louis up 2-0. Eighth inning, same score. Alec Burleson is going to crush one to deep right off Jacob Barnes. That's gone for a solo home run. Cardinals lead 3-0. Later in the inning, Donovan lines one to center. Jacob Young can't make the diving catch, and that ball rolls all the way to the wall. Cardinals run away with it. They win 6-0 on the road in D.C. Still to come, we'll see why a new study says smoking may be a reason why adults develop dementia later in life. Plus, another check of your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:17 now on this Tuesday morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing these are the far northern edges of what was Hurricane Beryl. The center of circulation still well to our south, and that it will not enter our immediate area, but we are getting some heavier showers from those rain bands. So again, Cassville right in the thick of it. Pineville, you're kind of split right now, just exiting Neosho and Carthage. Monette, Mount Vernon still getting some rain out there, as well as Greenfield, Stockton, and Osceola. And this kind of right along into the east of I-49 on the Missouri side. And that's going to be the greatest concentration for any redevelopment that may take place as Beryl continues to lift off to the north and east. Now just a tropical depression at this point. But again, could still bring us a few scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly along into the east of the 69 corridor, which we could show you on future track as we head into the afternoon and into the evening. As you can see, the majority of us are dry. And even in the areas where Beryl is making some rainfall right now, and even made some yesterday as well. Yesterday evening, got some pretty heavy rainfall. It's still going to be relatively isolated. And as we head later into the evening and overnight hours, eventually all of that clears on out of here as the center of circulation for the remnants of Beryl continues to move out just south of St. Louis as we head into our Wednesday. So here's where it is at right now near Texarkana, just to the northeast of there. Winds are now down to 30 miles an hour into the latest update here. But again, you can see the rain bands spreading off of this, and that's what's been bringing us rain to our area. By 1 this afternoon, as you can see, it's still well off to our east for the center of circulation, but just close enough that it could trigger some of those additional pop-up storms. And then as we head toward 1 in the morning, it's now back up toward eastern Illinois, just to the southeast of Champaign, and getting close to Indianapolis before it tracks on out of here and just kind of fizzles out. Quick look outside. It is 69 in Joplin. Again, earlier we got some rain on the east side of town, but not the midtown and not the west side. It's always interesting how it happens. Kind of neat to watch when you watch on one camera where it's raining and the one that's just a few miles down the road, it's completely dry. Winds northeast at 7. Temperatures around the area, and again, a fairly decent start for us out there. Upper 60s and some low 70s as we get our Tuesday underway. Heading through the morning, again, some isolated, widely scattered showers. Again, this is going to be mainly along and east of the 69 corridor. We'll make it up to about the mid 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. So along, and this is again, we've just got such a broad coverage area. You can't always hit the hammer on the nail on the head with the hammer here. Okay, most of us are going to be into the low to mid 80s today. A little further west, some of us may make the upper 80s today. I do believe about 2/3 of our area, though, going to be in the low to mid 80s out there. Partly cloudy skies also for the majority of us, but as we showed you on Future Track, a couple of pop-up showers or storms will be possible along and east of 69 with slightly better chances through about 8, and then that'll ramp up and we'll all begin to dry out and get a pretty pleasant overnight as well. Skies begin to clear and we'll fall back into the mid 60s, and this is why you want to enjoy today. Tomorrow, still not bad, upper 80s. Then we get some pop-up storms on Thursday, low 90s, but take a look heading into the weekend, mid upper 90s, and yeah, you're looking at that right. At this point, looking like the dangerous heat returns next week. We have pop-up storm chances and temperatures into the triple digits as we head into next week. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, kicking the habit, or better yet, never starting, could help you late in life. It could help you kick a late in life debilitating disease. A new study from scientists at the University College London says smoking may be a key reason why older adults develop dementia later in life. The researchers studied 32,000 adults between 50 and 104 and created 16 lifestyle combinations from among smoking, alcohol intake, physical activity, and social contact to determine cognitive decline risk. The scientists found smoking was associated with faster cognitive decline and much more than the other factors studied. Smokers' memory decline and verbal fluency dropped further than other factors caused the decline. A new study finds people taking Mounjaro injections lost more weight and were more likely to reach specific weight loss targets than those taking Ozempic. Researchers from a health data analytics company analyzed electronic health records from more than 18,000 adults. All were overweight or obese. About half had type 2 diabetes, and they took the medications over about a year and a half. The study found both medications helped patients achieve weight loss, but Mounjaro was more effective. The FDA has approved higher doses of both drugs to treat weight loss, but the new study only looked at the doses to treat type 2 diabetes. The maker of Ozempic, Novo Nordisk, criticized the study, saying it compares the diabetes version of its drug, not its weight loss version. That one goes by the name Wegovy, despite weight loss being the main subject of the study. It's one of the most common birth defects. Cleft lip with or without a cleft palate affects thousands of babies every year, according to the CDC. But there are ways to reduce risk. Mandy Gaither has what to know about this birth defect and ways to help prevent it.
It happens when a baby's lip or mouth doesn't fully form during pregnancy. Cleft lip is an opening in a baby's upper lip, and cleft palate is in the roof of a baby's mouth.
All of this is happening early on in pregnancy during the first trimester.
Dr. Colin Brady is a pediatric facial surgeon with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. He says the cause of cleft lip and cleft palate aren't fully known, but there are a variety of risk factors, including smoking or drinking alcohol during pregnancy, having diabetes before pregnancy, certain medications in the first trimester, obesity, and certain infections during pregnancy.
One thing that we know for certain is that a family history of cleft is certainly a risk for subsequent generations. Having cleft and cleft lip and palate can often run in a family.
To reduce risk, March of Dimes says folic acid should be taken before and during pregnancy. The organization recommends 400 micrograms every day before pregnancy and 600 micrograms when pregnant. Before pregnancy, get to a healthy weight and make sure vaccinations are up to date. During pregnancy, don't smoke or drink alcohol. Make sure medications are safe and get prenatal care early and often.
Early findings of this on 3D ultrasonography and some of the newer modalities that we have can at least lend parents an ability to take some time to get their expectations kind of set before the child is born.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A child born with a cleft lip or cleft palate can have surgery to get the birth defect repaired. But Dr. Brady says it's important that the child have a team of doctors to help with potential future issues, things like dental development, speech problems, and jaw growth. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got a few showers out there as the remnants of Beryl continue to shift off to our southeast. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, we'll learn about some of the items slated to be on the ballots in Missouri and Kansas next month.
And we've got some clouds, a few showers out there, mainly east of I-49 this morning, maybe a few more for some of us. We'll have a look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, some area kids hit the great outdoors with a trip to Camp Wildcat in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday here in the 4 states, and we got no severe weather yesterday, but we did get some very heavy rainfall.
Yes.
That did lead to some flash flooding concerns for a little bit out there, so do keep an eye out just for some of those low water crossings. But it was rain that we needed.
Yeah, a lot of it, like all at once, pretty fast.
Yeah.
Is all I have to say about that. But I know we need the rain, so I'm going to be quiet.
Well, we do, but we've mentioned before. Sometimes when it comes down a little too fast, it's not doesn't do the ground any good. But
I just didn't mind. I wish that I didn't hydroplane. I guess I should say yesterday a little bit because it was bad out there for a second.
Yeah,
it really
got
was.
That way.
It really was.
My wife was driving. She's picking up some food for everybody, and said she got down to about 4th and Range line, and water was up halfway up the tires out there. So
gotta be careful.
Hopefully you're all safe.
Right, yes.
That's the big thing. Hopefully we're all safe. Well, let's take a quick look outside from our camera at 7th and Range line. And no rain in the Joplin area at this moment. Did have a brief shower on the east side of town earlier. MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range line, looking pretty good as well. So here's the Skywatch storm tracker, and you can see where there's some heavier rain into, let's say around Monette, Cassville, just east of Pineville now, basically along and east of 49, and up toward Mount Vernon, Greenfield, Stockton, Osceola, and again, east of I-49 this morning. All of this, again, associated with the remnants of Beryl. Now, the remnants will continue to drift off to the north and to the east, but we could still see some brief redevelopment in the form of some pop-up showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, but it's going to be a lot more isolated and a lot less than what we saw yesterday. After that, though, as we head later into the evening, we're going to begin to clear out, and we're going to be pretty decent today ahead of some dangerous heat returning by next week. Temperatures this morning, though, once again, very nice out there. We're into the upper 60s and low 70s. We're looking at highs on the average into the low 80s, and again, at least along into the east of the 69 corridor. Could see some pop-up showers or storms. If you're west of that, you're just going to be partly cloudy to mostly clear, and it'll be a little warmer than your neighbors. Some of you may make the mid, even upper 80s out there. Again, the dangerous heat does return in our future. We'll have a full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Lise?
Chris, thanks. With the holiday weekend behind us, the countdown is on to the August 6th primary. And in Missouri, mail-in voting is already underway. Ballots in Missouri will include 2 proposed amendments to the state constitution. Amendment 1 would make places that provide child care outside of the home exempt from property taxes. It's not clear how much that could impact local tax revenues. Amendment number 4 would allow the state legislature to require a city to increase the minimum funding for a police force established by a state board of police commissioners. This specifically would impact Kansas City's police force, which is the only police department governed at the state level. Kansas has no amendments on the ballot, but a number of candidates want your vote for the U.S. congressional seat in the 2nd District. 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats are competing for their party's nomination. We interviewed all 7 of those candidates, covering such topics as immigration, inflation, and abortion. You can see those interviews unedited on our website. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. Be sure to download the KOAM News app for all of your election needs. You can also go to our website for election information at KOAM/newsnow.com. KOAM.org/elections. The website will include resources for all of the 4-state areas, such as polling places, deadlines, dates, and you can even check to see if you're registered to vote. Once again, that's KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. The second annual Camp Wildcat kicked off yesterday. The event, hosted by Wildcat Glades Nature Group, gives participants the opportunity to learn all about the wildlife, plants, rocks, and habitats found at Wildcat Park through hands-on activities. Respect for the park was also on the lesson plan.
Respectful of things like poison ivy. We don't handle any of the wild animals out here. We try to remind them that this is their home, and so to leave them alone. We also try to remind them to pick up trash, so we try to carry trash bags when we do hikes and whatnot. That way they're respectful.
The event runs through Wednesday. The Grove Public Library gave patrons a place to cool off and a cool place to take in a movie. Kids of all ages could hit the library yesterday for a Monday matinee. The fun-filled family experience even came with free complimentary popcorn and cold bottles of water.
Being part of the community is really important to us, and we want to provide things that bring the community together at no cost to the community, and we want families to make a habit out of coming to the library.
Yesterday's movie was Wish, and the program runs every Monday in July. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Gaza City residents leave after Israel issues fresh evacuation order. Plus, it's a high-stakes week for President Joe Biden as leaders from 31 NATO countries head to Washington, D.C. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, a political deadlock in France could lead to serious repercussions for the rest of the world. Alex Hogan has more from London.
A big election day surprise could have major implications for France and the world. Over the weekend, a left-wing coalition surged into victory in the French national parliamentary election, stunning voters and world leaders after polls predicted a major win for right-wing parties. But neither side was able to claim a majority, meaning Europe's second biggest economy will be politically deadlocked until someone cuts a deal with centrist President Emmanuel Macron.
The notion that you would have a fight between the two extremes, extreme left and extreme right, is one which not only appeals to Macron, but may actually happen to emerge.
Now fears are growing that the economic and political instability could spread beyond the French borders. France is a major supporter of Ukraine's fight against Russia, and the Ukrainians are counting on Macron's backing as a Russian counteroffensive ramps up. Some are also worried France could spark a euro crisis by agreeing to major spending increases demanded by the left.
That harbors a danger for the European Union because France is too big economically for it to slide into a debt crisis.
But on the streets of Paris, most seem to be taking the gridlock in stride, saying the two sides will eventually come together, and it's all part of living in a democracy.
It reflects what France is. There are many different opinions and means to express them. It's a privilege, but sometimes it's also tricky.
After the election, France's prime minister tried to quit, but his resignation was rejected by French President Emmanuel Macron.
Palestinians in the Gaza City pack up and leave after Israel issues its newest evacuation order. People are seen carrying their belongings out of the heavily bombed area on Sunday. Some of them injured and others carrying young children. Most of Gaza's 2.3 million population has been displaced several times. The war between Israel and Hamas is in its 9th month. Thousands of people have been killed as calls for a ceasefire continue. It's a high-stakes week for President Joe Biden as leaders from 31 NATO countries head to Washington, D.C. Biden aims to convince the allied countries to continue their support for Ukraine, and the timing is critical after Russia launched its first major attack in months. But as Rebecca Castor reports, this summit will also put the president's health under a microscope.
Ukrainians rushed to clear debris after a massive Russian air attack early Monday. More than 40 missiles targeted 5 Ukrainian cities, with one hitting a children's hospital in Kyiv. At least 20 people were killed, but that number will likely rise as first responders search for bodies.
We are doing everything to rescue these people from the rubble.
The deadly attack comes just a day before a 3-day NATO summit in Washington. While Ukraine is not a member of the military alliance, President Volodymyr Zelensky will travel to D.C. to meet with world leaders and plead for more defense support.
It's in our security interest to support Ukraine. It's not charity. It's in our interest to provide support to Ukraine.
As the host country, the pressure is on for President Joe Biden to showcase strong leadership on the world stage. He'll attend several official events and hold a rare press conference Thursday, where his mental fitness will surely be scrutinized amid calls for him to bow out of the presidential race.
When I look at what happens this week, I mean, the critical week for Joe Biden politically, is he up to the job? He's got 1 week to show the world and the United States that he is.
I'm the guy that put NATO together, the future. No one thought I could expand it. I'm the guy that shut Putin down.
President Biden says NATO is more united now than ever, but that could change if he loses November's election to Donald Trump, who has discussed pulling the U.S. out of the alliance.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:45 now on this Tuesday morning. We're starting with Skywatch Storm Trackers. We've got some of those rain bands from what is remaining of what was Hurricane Beryl down to our south now. Still some heavier rain into the Cassville area, Monette, Mount Vernon. So there is actually a flood watch out now for Berry County. And those are part of the ones that stretch off to the north and the east. And you can see why. We had that flash flooding yesterday from very heavy rain from thunderstorms that got going. But now we're just dealing with these rain bands just kind of slowly rotating over the same areas here along and east of the I-49 corridor as the Beryl continues to progressively lift off to the northeast. So you can see the center of circulation lifting to the northeast, but of course the spin with it pushing some of those rain bands back up into our area. Now, as we head into the late morning, afternoon, those should begin to kind of fizzle out, and we're going to be left with just some remaining scattered showers and thunderstorms along and east of the 69 corridor. As Beryl continues to lift off to the east, we could have a few of those pop-up showers or storms as we head later into the evening. And then once we get even later than that, say 10 o'clock, that's it. It is done. We are dry, and it's going to start to heat up across the area, and it's going to get pretty darn hot out there as we head into the next few days. So let's take a look at, first off, here's Beryl's current position, center of circulation just northeast of Texarkana, down to tropical depression status as the winds are at about 30 miles an hour, continuing to weaken by about 1 o'clock this afternoon, being south central Missouri, and that's why it'll be just close enough to maybe trigger a few additional pop-up showers or storms out there, and then it'll continue to lift off to the north and to the east, and we'll be done with us here before too much longer. 69 in Joplin, mostly cloudy skies, east-northeast breeze at 6, and around the area, again, the temperatures not a bad start out there whatsoever, upper 60s and low 70s. As we get our morning underway, we're looking pretty good. Again, aside from those scattered showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder along and east of 49 initially through the morning, and then as we head into the afternoon, along into the east of the 69 corridor is where we're going to see the opportunity for a pop-up shower source. For the majority of us, we'll be partly cloudy and dry and warm. We're talking low to mid 80s for most of us, maybe some mid upper 80s here and there. But again, if you're on or east of the 69 corridor, an isolated pop-up shower storm will be possible out there. And then we'll eventually again clear out overnight, mostly clear skies tonight, falling back into the mid 60s. As we look ahead down the road, it's going to start to get dangerously hot once again. So we've got 89 tomorrow, so not too bad. Low 90s Thursday, maybe a pop-up shower or storm, and then we head into the weekend. Now next week with the heat, the humidity, we go back to those opportunities for pop-up storms, but we also go back to the dangerous heat with highs climbing into the lower 100s as we kick off the next work week. That's a check of your forecast. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, it's a scene that has played out across the country during the holiday week. People injured because of fireworks. And in Wichita, Kansas, a man is sharing the story of how he nearly died in a fireworks accident. Eli Higgins spoke with him about how that injury has impacted his life.
It changed life in literally less than a second. Being one of the most dangerous holidays, the 4th of July always comes with injuries. But a few years ago, for Mark McCormick, it changed his life forever.
I was being dumb and like just playing with fireworks and shooting off mortar shells and doing things like that and holding the cannon, and the cannon had bent, and it bent, I didn't notice, and it went off in my hand.
McCormick says his friend rushed him to the hospital where he began fighting for his life.
I immediately got a blood transfusion because I had lost so much blood, and then after that I had to wait 10.5 hours for surgery.
McCormick says when he woke up, he was just expecting some cuts and bruises.
Yeah, that's definitely a benefit. I had high hopes because the doctor never really talked to me. They had a gigantic cast on my hand and I could still feel it. And whenever they took the cast off, it broke my heart.
Doctors had to amputate his hand and about 14 inches of his arm. But he says the hardest part was still yet to come.
I was told by the doctors I was supposed to take 6 months off of work, and I'm supporting a whole household, everything. I owned a home, everything. I lost everything because of it. And now my family's separated.
McCormick says he was denied disability, so he had no choice but to keep working. And after refusing to ever give up, he relearned how to do everything in life most would find impossible. Like work his construction job and fix his own cars when they break down. Now, McCormick says he qualifies for a robotic hand since all of his muscles and nerves still work, but he doesn't know how he'll ever be able to afford to get a normal life back.
Like, I've tried to find the cheapest, even that is $20,000. So, but like a preferable one or a good one, it'd be like 50 or something like that.
But McCormick says above all else, his biggest hope is that his story will remind others of the importance of safety around fireworks.
Just be careful. Don't play around and think it's just a game. Because just like I said, at any given moment, it could change.
McCormick has set up a GoFundMe page to help raise money toward getting his new hand. Stick around. We'll be right back. The Eiffel Tower is carved into a crop field in Italy to celebrate the upcoming Paris Olympic Games. Italian land artist Dario Gambarin's latest work in the Verona countryside was made with a plow and tractor and covers a 2-acre plot. He says the art is a dedication for peace and hopes that sports will unite people all over the world. Gambarin uses a highly skilled technique that allows him to create proportionate images without measuring the field before his work. He has produced several land art pieces before, including portraits of former U.S. presidents, Pope Francis, and shows of support to the Italian national football team. We'll prepare to warm up the oven today because it's National Sugar Cookie Day. The popular baked good was first called the Nazareth cookie after the Pennsylvania town where it originated. German Protestant bakers may have brought the recipe with them when they immigrated to America in the mid-1700s. Today, the dessert might take different shapes thanks to cookie cutters and some sugar cookie fans and icing, colored sugar, and even edible glitter. But no matter how you slice and bake it, the simplest cookie is often the best, just pure buttery, sugary goodness.
It's going to be a pretty good day to enjoy a few of those sugar cookies and stay indoors for some. And others, it's going to be a great opportunity to enjoy one more day before we start to see the dangerous heat return as we head into next week. All right, for some of us already getting showers, may see some continuing showers initially along and east of I-49, and then they'll become a little more isolated as we head into the afternoon. So most of us partly cloudy and eventually making it into the low 80s today. However, along and east of the 69 corridor, as the remnants of Beryl continue to track off to the north and east, that could bring some additional opportunities for a few pop-up showers and storms for, again, a few of us, not many of us, and not looking quite like what we saw yesterday with the larger storms, more of those storms and the very heavy rainfall. It'll be a little bit more isolated as we head in the afternoon and evening, and again, mostly confined along and east of 69. Eventually, though, we'll all begin to clear out and we'll fall back into the mid-60s as we head into the overnight hours across the area. And then as we look ahead, as I mentioned, the dangerous heat is going to make a return to the area, unfortunately. So tomorrow, not bad, still warm, but not bad, upper 80s, low 90s Thursday, maybe an isolated pop-up shower or storm. Then we go into the weekend. The weekend is dry, but that's where we start to see the dangerous heat return. Take a look at those temperatures going into the mid-90s, upper 90s by Sunday. And then as we head into next week, yeah, we've got some isolated pop-up storm chances out there, but the big story are those temperatures going back into the lower 100s as we head into next week. So do be prepared for that, and do be prepared for some of that dangerous heat out there once again. We've had a nice little break, though. All right, that is a check of your forecast. We've got a whole other hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.